Welcome to another episode of Vendor Spotlight, and today we are chatting with Tara Wayshower. She is a psychic shaman, and she also does tea leaf readings at the Holistic Market. We're pretty excited to have her on our show today, and I'll just let you know when the next show, the next event is going to be. We're done for this year, but the next time we get together is going to be on Sunday, January 12th, 2020, and that's 11 to 4 at the Laurel Packing House in downtown Kelowna. It is free admission. And of course, you can always check out vendor profiles online at holisticmarket.ca if you're interested in reaching out to the vendors that you're familiar with and can't wait until next year. Check out this website. There's a whole section for Meet the Exhibitors, and contact info is on there if you'd like to reach out prior to our next event. So I'm pretty excited about having Tara on board today. In fact, we were just out this weekend at a holiday party, and we were doing readings there for a company. So these are kind of some of the other things that we've been doing, and we like to certainly reach as many people as we can. And I'll just pop her up here on the stream right now. Okay, so this is Tara. Tara, welcome to the show. Hi. Sorry, I'll just unmute you there. Okay, let's hello, Tara.
Hi, Carly.
Welcome to the
Hi,
show.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We are excited to have you here because you're actually the only tea leaf reader that we have at the market. And I like it. I know my daughter has had a reading from you, and she was quite impressed. And she's actually sent some of her friends to see you too. So yeah, definitely. If anyone's watching and you have any questions for Tara, please be sure to type them in the comments below. And if you're watching on the replay, certainly type in the comments below as well. We will be monitoring that for the next few days. And Annie says, welcome, Tara. Annie Matheson. Hi, Annie. Welcome. Thank you for watching. So definitely enter your comments. We will not be doing a live tea leaf reading today, but Tara does have a special offer for the viewers, which we will get to later in the show. All right. So Tara, maybe you can start off by sharing with us what a psychic shaman is, because that is what you are.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there are other psychic shamans. Actually, I do know that there are. Everybody is psychic. Some of us just happen to practice it, recognize it, and exercise that ability. But every human being is perfectly capable of intuitive and psychic abilities. So the shamanic aspect of that is the ability to be able to bridge worlds and enter into other dimensions and other states of energy in order to get information to help another human being heal. And there's a lot of different ways that that can be done in the world. Every culture has a shamanic or medicine person. When we had tribes, we were much more in tune with who our shaman were, and the shaman were much more in tune with who their people were, because we were much closer. And so we use, in this modern day, we use technology to be able to bridge that gap from human to human. And so me, as a shamanic psychic, I am using nature, spirit animals, ancestors, guides, and energies like that in order to know the best way and the best approach in order to walk with somebody and show them the way to their own self-healing.
Oh, excellent. And hence Wayshower, because you're helping to show them the way, and that's, as you said, the path to their own healing then. So when people work with you in that capacity, is it like a one-on-one situation, or do you do virtual distance readings as well?
Yeah. Yeah. So I do readings over the phone for people, and primarily I'm using the tea leaves for that. So a few minutes or half an hour or so before the phone call, I draw up the tea leaves and I meditate on that person and their energy. I mean, obviously, the universe or energy distance is no factor, right?
Right.
There's no
Yeah.
loss of information for distance, and
Hmm.
so oftentimes I'll do tea leaf readings over the phone for people. Um, and then one-on-one shamanic work, people will come to my land, my sacred land, where I live, about half an hour out of Vernon, and they will have initially a tea leaf reading so that we can get that information, and then we will do a journey so that we can go into the other realms. I will assist the person in being able to do that, and I will enter into the other dimensions as well, so that we can get the information that we need, and then we exercise the shamanic tools in order to um, do the work that's required depending on what information shows up for us. And I also do in the spring, the summer, and the fall, I do teaching workshops and retreats and shamanic healing journeys that can last either for a couple of weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, and also for 5 days in a row for some people. Those are
Oh, wow.
interesting journeys. Yeah.
Oh, that's intense.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So we actually have a question here from Annie. She's asking the kind of tea that you use. Do you have rose petals in them?
Mm. Yeah, that's very interesting. I actually do have a couple of tea blends with various flowers. Some of them, the blends have rose petals. Some of them have echinacea or other flower petals in them. The go-to tea leaf blend that I use is a blend of 3 teas that I combine. And the one that I use most of the time does not have flowers in it, but at times I do use ones with flowers.
Oh, nice. Great question, Annie. Thank you. And if anyone else has
Mhm.
any comments or questions, please be sure to type them in the comments below, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. Yeah, this is great. So actually, do you have an example of what the tea leaves look like in a cup?
I actually do. I figured people would be really interested. So this is one of the cups that I use. I have 2 cups that I use. This is the one that I use when I'm doing sessions in my home on my land. And inside, you can see, I'm just trying to go backwards. So inside, you can see that there are tea leaves. And what am I looking at here? Okay, you know what? This one actually speaks probably to a lot of the people who are watching right now. Sometimes we can get a general reading for the world or for a certain community or for a family or for an individual. And this one talks, if you can see that there's a big tree here, right? And it's reaching up into the metaphysical aspects. The metaphysical aspects of the cup for me, when I'm reading, are the walls of the cup. And at the bottom of the cup is generally the physical world. And so this tree is bridging the physical world up into the metaphysical, meaning beyond the physical. And I honestly am very much paying attention to the shifts that are happening on Earth today and for the inhabitants of Earth. And everybody's really shifting up in frequency. Have you noticed that, Carly? It's picked up quite a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely, and things are moving faster, and a lot of people opening up and doing so quite quickly. I find that too. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so that tree in that cup is sort of speaking to that growth, right? Um, there's also another, I'm doing it backwards here, but another little growth that's happening here just underneath the tree. And it talks about, what are we looking at? It talks about fertility. There's a little bit of a a pregnant look to this, and it talks about the growth and the fertility that's going to be happening for some of the individuals as well. This is actually a really beautiful cup in a lot of ways. I could get lost in that, but anyway, so that's basically that's basically what the cup looks like. It's different for everyone, of course, and there's different messages. But yeah, I don't want
Yeah,
to
I
get
can
lost
see
in
you
that too much.
starting to get pulled into that reading a little bit
Yeah.
deeper there. But we do have another question here from Annie, and she's curious about her body's health and would like to come see you for a reading. Do you offer private party readings?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, well, first of all, I'm more than happy to schedule something with you, of course. And I actually do. I will go to people's homes for individual sessions, depending on where they're located. And I do parties for people. It's actually a really beautiful way to be come closer to your friends and to your family. Sometimes I'll do family gatherings, and sometimes it's just a bunch of girlfriends. Sometimes couples wish to have that. The things that show up in the cup are really revealing in the sense that the cup or the universe or our guides they know exactly what we need, and so the messages show up in a very timely way, and so what's there is what we talk about. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I do group readings for people. Usually the cup is individual for each one. um, they get 10 or 15 minutes each, and or it depends on how many people. It can be longer.
Right. And Tammy has a comment too. She said, very interesting. Yeah, I
It
think it
is.
is
It
too.
is.
It is quite fascinating.
I am
So
so
actually,
fascinated.
yeah. So what I'll do right now, just pop up your contact info then, should anybody wish to see you directly, you can reach you this way through your website, tara-wayshower.com. Facebook is at Tara Bradley Intuitive, and Instagram is at tara.wayshower. So multiple ways to reach you. And
Yes.
Tara, maybe you can share with us, how did you first feel that you had uh, this gift within you?
Yeah. Yeah, so like I was saying, I think everybody is psychic, right? And it's just not something that we are taught. It's not something that is spoken about. And so as we age, we get farther and farther away from our intuition and the messages that naturally come for us. And that definitely happened for me. Luckily, I had parents who were quite open, and my mom was a very loving, kind woman who is very intuitional herself. Um, but again, that's not part of our culture, so I wasn't raised with that knowledge. So I got a lot of messages during my young years, and I would know things and I would pick up on things about people, especially their energies and how they were feeling, because I'm also an empath, as many people are. And I didn't really know what to do with that stuff. And I really actually didn't have language for any. It's not like I could talk to myself about it or that I could even think about it in a specific way. There was just a state of being, and I did nothing with it. Sometimes when I picked up on things from people, I would ask them, hey, are you feeling like this? Or, I just got this little piece of information. Is this something that makes sense to you? And I would have people say, holy cow, how did you know that? And then I also had just as many people say, I don't know what you're talking about. And so I didn't figure that it was a thing for me. I always did wonder if that was a psychic ability or not. But because it was hit or miss, and it wasn't the Hollywood version of what we think psychics are, I just didn't do anything with it. And I doubted myself a lot. So I didn't carry through with any of it. And so then essentially I was what we would call asleep for a long time. And I owned a business. I had moved to the United States. I lived there for about 15 years. And so I was living in a small town called Walla Walla. And I met a lady who asked me if I would be a tea leaf reader for one of her yearly party. And I kind of said, no, I'm not going to do that. I own a business in town, and I don't want to be known as some flaky woo-woo. And she said, but you would be so good at this. And I said, but I'm not a psychic. And she said, oh yes, you are. Because we'd gotten to know each other. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, you're incredibly intuitive. The things that you pick up on about me, about other people, the things that it's all part of that. And I said, well, I don't think so. Took her a while for her to convince me, but I finally did decide, because I was really, really curious what would happen if I did do some reading. And so I went and Googled tea leaf reading, and I read like there's different techniques and different cultures have different ways of doing it. And it has stemmed from, it popped up in various different parts of the world spontaneously. I thought maybe it would have come from China or something, and
Yeah,
that
that
it
would
would have
make
just
sense.
spread. But yeah, yeah. But no, it popped up individually in different parts of the world. Turkish people use coffee grounds. Other cultures can use coffee grounds as well. Other things, sticks, stones. I mean, it can be Rice Krispies. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's
It
it's
could
part
just
of
be,
scrying is basically.
yeah. So the
Wouldn't that be funny? Here,
next time someone spills their
yeah,
Rice Krispies on the floor, before you mop it up, do a reading.
yeah, yeah. Take a look and see what's there, right? Yeah. So anyway, I Googled it, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to do my own way, and I incorporated little bits and pieces from the things that I had read, and I got there, and I also decided that I was going to uh, just be open, and whatever was going to come, I was just going to say it. And one of the things that was really key, and I think this is going to be important for a lot of people watching, is that when things come to us, it's really important to just trust it, not filter it through our head, or not say, oh, that sounds stupid. Um, Imagination and intuition are completely entwined, and it requires both. Even what's his name? Albert Einstein said that, right? That intuition and imagination are key parts to creation, and you can't separate them. So I decided that I was just going to say whatever came. And the way that I made myself feel better about that was I was going to tell everybody that this was just for fun, right? That I wasn't really a psychic, because I also wanted to be integral. I didn't want to pretend to be something that I wasn't, and that it was just for fun. And if this is just for fun, then it doesn't matter if I'm wrong. It doesn't matter if they don't get it, right? So I gave myself that out. And what happened by giving myself that out was that information just poured in. When the first lady actually sat down, I got a big, strong message that said, don't tell her that you're not a real psychic, because she'll change the way she interacts with you.
Oh.
And I was a little bit, yeah, right. I was a little bit shocked at that message, because my whole intention was to come in and be really upfront. But I saw the value in that message. And so I thought to myself, I'll just tell her afterward, so that there's no fakeness, because that's one of the things with, like, I had these big ideas about psychics, right? They're cheaters, they're liars, they're charlatans, they're going to tell you what you want to hear, all of that kind of stuff. And so anyway, so she sat down, and I just told her everything that was coming. And well, without going into details, we connected on so many levels, and I saw things that there was no way that I would be able to see. Like, I saw a certain object that existed in her life. And so we talked about all of those things. And during the reading, she was laughing, she was crying. We had touched and explored really deep relationship issues for her, and she was able to move forward. So at the end of the reading, when I was going to say, oh, by the way, I'm not a real psychic, I thought, how can I do that to her? She just had this intense experience that something happened for sure, right? And so I didn't say that to her, and I just continued to read all day long and got really profound, accurate messages. So that's how it all started.
That was like the message for you that came through.
Yeah, it was.
Like, no, you can't say that anymore, because it was affirmation for yourself. Right?
Yeah,
you were
absolutely.
You were almost like the last person to catch up.
That's so
where
true.
Everyone else saw you.
I went home and I said to my husband, what the heck happened? And I told him everything. And he said, why are you so surprised? This is the way you've been ever since I've known you. And so I thought, okay, well, I guess I'm going to keep going. And I had a 2-year practicum where I just read for tons of people for free all the time.
Oh, wow. You would get very good at that then, and comfortable too in the messages and the way that you're interpreting, I would imagine. So we got another question here from Annie, and that is, do people ever use their own teacups? Like, do people come to see you and bring their own cup, because she has her grandma's old teacups?
Yep. Every once in a while, that does happen. There's certain things that are important in the teacup, that it is shallow enough to have proper movement of the tea, and that the background obviously is a light color so that the tea leaves don't get obscured by a dark inside
Right.
color, right? So that there's enough contrast between the cup itself and the tea leaves. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that's a great question, Annie. Thank you for asking. And if anyone else has some questions, certainly be sure to type them in the comments below. And if you're watching on the replay, type in replay. And we're about to get up to Tara's special offer that she has for viewers. So Tara, what we had talked about for the next holistic market, would you like to share what you'd like to offer there?
Sure, absolutely. So I think, having talked to Carly, I think what would be a fabulous idea is that anybody who sets up an appointment for the holistic market, is it January, Carly?
Yeah, it's on January the 12th, 2020,
Okay.
from 11 till 4. And as
Okay,
well,
perfect.
do you, actually, I'll just bring myself back up here. Are you one of the people that does pre-booking of appointments starting at 10? Okay, so if you pre-book
Yeah.
with Tara, you can actually get in access to the market earlier. Nobody really knows
Yeah.
that. Well, now
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah. Now they
Yeah,
do.
so
So
yeah.
yeah, you can pre-book with me, and if you mention this interview, say the interview with Carly that you did, I will give you a special price. I will give you a discount on your reading.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. I do, and as I know the people in the audience do. We love free stuff. We like free offers. We like special offers, and it's very generous of you because I know you are solidly packed from beginning to the end, and it's very much appreciated that you would give a special pricing to somebody that's been watching this show and will mention that to you. Now there is a limit on that, so but I'm sure Tara will figure something out for you if she reaches that limit. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. So we don't have any more new comments right now. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Tara, before we wrap up?
Yeah, so we talked about tea leaf reading, and
Mm-hmm.
we talked about the shamanic work. One of the things that I really want to leave people with is the remembrance and the confirmation that you do have intuitive abilities. You are a psychic being as well as a physical being. And one of the big reasons that we're here is to grow our souls, to become more and more and more of our seed self, right? And to grow into our highest capabilities and awarenesses. And so I think it's important for everyone to acknowledge that, remember that, and then do what it takes to grow our souls so that when we are finished with this physical body, we have evolved to a point that our next gig, whatever that might be, is at an advanced level and that we're prepared for that time. And I feel like that's part of my work on this earth, is to walk with people in that journey and to show them the way to do that in a way that resonates. There's a lot of different ways, and every one of us wayshowers come with different medicine. And so if people resonate with my medicine, come and see me. But regardless, find the person whose medicine does resonate with you.
Indeed. And I find that too when people are at the market and they're not sure who to go see for a reading. I just suggest that they go walk around, ask questions, and whoever they're drawn to, and they feel that within themselves, and that's where they're being pulled, and that's where they're being guided to see, and that's where their messages will lie. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do
perfect.
agree with that too, and there's been a lot that's been going on in our in the planet, and that things are just moving faster. Things are opening up. People are becoming more aware or awakened, as is often referred to as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been into tarot card readings like since high school. So we're talking like the 80s. And it was more the kind of occult underground thing, and now it's just kind of more open. And I think a huge part of that has been access to free information, such as on the internet. That people aren't sure, what is shamanic psychic? What does that mean? Like clickety click, you've got answers, right? Whereas previously we would have had to dig a little deeper to find info that way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have found that so many people that come to me are saying, I don't even know why I'm accessing you, like I've never been I haven't been thinking about this kind of stuff before in my life, and now I'm feeling a need to, but I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. So many people who would have never accessed it before. And part of it is technology. Part of it is that the Earth's resonance itself, the frequency that it resonated at, has shifted upward. And all of the inhabitants on Earth really subconsciously want to shift up to match that resonance. And so they're doing so. And then also what happens is we're in one of the safest times to be able to explore this part of ourselves. As you know, any powerful, empowered woman in the history of the world has been labeled a witch or a hag or, killed
Persecuted.
Perhaps, or persecuted one way or another. And it's a safe time for people to embrace their power now. Not completely safe. I mean, there's social aspects that might play into it. It took me a few years to embrace, like I said, the word psychic. I called myself other things at the time, and eventually, even in any given conversation, people would say, "Oh, that's very interesting. You're an intuitive therapist." Well, what's an intuitive therapist? And I always ended up having to use the word psychic anyway. So I thought, well, I better start embracing this. And I would slowly introduce what I was. And it turns out that there wasn't really much pushback. And every once in a while, I'd get a little funny look. But most of the time, people were open and curious and wanted to know more. So it's a really good time in the world and in our lives for us to be able to share that healing medicine, right? To up everybody's vibration so that things go better.
And you know what? This actually reminds me of some of the info that I saw from your Facebook. It must have been from Facebook or Instagram. And it was pictures that you were showing in nature. And and it was almost like some of them, like say it was like of a tree trunk, and there'd be the spirals, and it was like, oh, I can almost see it like you just showed the teacup. You can really like get lost in that and be like, whoa. Yep. And like, is that what you do with people too when people come like to your land, or is that something that is part of the work that you do with people?
Yeah, absolutely. So nature is a beautiful teacher, right? We are nature. And the further removed we get from that awareness and that interaction, the less comfortable we are in our own bodies. And so I assist people in getting back to that connection with nature, sometimes for the very first time in their life. And so on my sacred land, we have 5 acres out here, and I take people out. Like I said, they'll stay for 5 days at a time, or sometimes a weekend, or sometimes once a week in the evenings, they'll come out to the property, and I show them how to connect with nature and get those messages. And what was your question? Is that?
Oh, it was, I was asking if that's how you work with people then, is like, because I'd seen the pictures that you'd posted and be like, oh, those are really cool. Was that just out on your walk, or is that like part of the shaman work that you do with people? Yeah.
It is. And so then they will be immersed in nature. They stay out in my open air longhouse. It has walls, but it's an open air situation with an outdoor kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm remembering a picture amazing. Of that one too.
Yes. And so I will show them how to connect, right? And we'll find ways that they connect really well. And at the end of the 5-day shamanic healing intensive, they go through a rite of passage, and it's something that's maybe not so easy, but it's incredibly powerful for them. And when they leave, they are an absolutely transformed person. And that all happens out in nature. I spend a lot of time out there connecting, listening to the messages, gathering the medicine that grows on my property, that I use in my healing work, and I show people how to do that same thing, because in order to shift and in order to grow, we have to know who we are and where we came from, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. Thank you, Tara. So just as a reminder, this is our vendor spotlight that we're doing with Tara Wayshower, and she is a shamanic psychic. We are talking about tea leaf readings as well, and while not doing actual readings on the show today, Tara has a special offer if you're in the Kelowna, BC, Canada region in January. Come down to the Holistic Market and mention that you saw her on this show, and she will be able to give you a special offer on a tea leaf reading. They are quite a bit longer, but that's why we're not doing them on the show right now. But definitely we could probably have you back at a later date and just focus on that. But today I wanted to really get to know you a bit better and let our viewers find out a bit more about where you've come from and what your journey is. And thank you so much for sharing. As well, Annie has said, thank you for your time and have a great week. Thank you, Annie. Thanks for participating with all of your comments. I do appreciate that. So thanks, Tara. So I'll just wrap up here. Stay on, and we'll chat after this is done then. Okay, so the next market, like we were saying, it is, this is Tara's contact info on her website, tarawayshower.com. We've got Facebook, she's at Tara Bradley Intuitive, and Instagram is at tara.wayshower. The next Holistic Market and Psychic Fair is coming up on January the 12th, 2020, and that's from 11 till 4 at the Laurel Packing House in downtown Kelowna in Canada, in case anyone's watching internationally. It is free admission, and you get to see amazing people and vendors such as Tara, and we have over 50 vendors, not just with readings, but we also have people who do body work, energetic work, and as well there's a section of people that have holistic products and services. And as you stay tuned to each and every one of these broadcasts, we'll bring each of them up closer and personal so you get to know them a bit better as well. I am going to be looking next time and the next couple of interviews, just setting up the time. I'm actually going to be bringing in a special guest, and she has been running a metaphysical school, which I am actually on the faculty of, and some of the other vendors are also on the faculty. So it's pretty exciting. It's just launching right now. There's actually a free masterclass that's happening at the moment. Certainly check out the Holistic Market website and page for more information about that, or you can contact me directly on Facebook and Instagram at Holistic Market Psychic Fair. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll hopefully see you at the market. Bye.